The West Kensington and Fair Hill neighborhoods of Philadelphia are known as the Badlands. They are home to what law enforcement officials say is the largest open-air heroin market along the East Coast, with some of the purest heroin available anywhere.
There are countless drug trafficking groups and organizations that operate in and around this area.
That's Pat J. Traynor, a special agent with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration here at the Philadelphia Field Division. He recently drove me and a freelance photographer, Mel Epps, around the Badlands. At one point, Mel rolled down his window to get a better shot.
Be careful about putting that camera out too much. So,
All right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, we'll back up off.
Yeah.
Mel rolled his window back up, and as we drove past people in tattered clothing, past buildings that looked like they'd seen better days, and garbage-strewn vacant lots, Traynor described the fierce competition among the numerous drug traffickers in the area.
In order for them to be profitable, in order for them to be successful, they have to sell high purity heroin.
Unfortunately, this need is causing many dealers to lace their products with synthetic opioids, in particular fentanyl, which is anywhere from 80 to 100 times more potent than heroin. And Traynor says the purer the product, the more deadly it is, the better it sells.
There is no greater endorsement for a heroin trafficker than when his or her product kills someone. Again, if someone dies of a fatal overdose, again, there is no greater endorsement for that stamp, that heroin than that.
Philadelphia had more than 900 overdose deaths, many of them opioid-related, in 2016, as opposed to 720 in 2015. Philadelphia leads the state in numbers of people dying from drug overdoses. Traynor says there were 3,383 fatal drug overdoses across Pennsylvania in 2015, the most current statistics available.
So the numbers are just staggering. How many overdose deaths? I mean, we in law enforcement have not seen anything like this at all. It is just horrific, the amount of people that have died.
And it's not just people in cities who are using and dying.
Most of the people who come here to buy heroin are not necessarily from this area. Again, I say most, not all, but most of the customers that come here are not from this area. They're coming from suburban counties. They're coming from other parts of the city.
Jose Benitez is the executive director of Prevention Point Philadelphia. He says it is the second or third largest needle exchange program on the East Coast. Prevention Point also serves as a soup kitchen and operates as a 25-bed shelter during the winter months for people with substance use disorders. Prevention Point provides free medical care and mental health treatment to those at highest risk for IV drug use and HIV/AIDS. Benitez says the population of those registered for the syringe exchange program has risen to 8,800 people this year from 4,200 2 years ago.
We've doubled the amount of people that we're seeing on heroin. So it's pretty scary at this particular point in terms of the number of potential overdoses that we could see in the city.
Benitez agrees with Traynor that the opioid crisis is crisscrossing all layers of society.
It's a crisis that knows no boundaries. So we're seeing affluent people, we're seeing people of lower economic status, all kinds of races. So it's not something that particularly sees any kind of boundary.
There was a lot of drugs around, so I started using again then. But when my dad almost died, he got real sick. I got myself clean for 2 years, but right before college graduation. Got clean for 2 years, went back to school, clean. Last 2 years of college, I did it right, 4.0, and 2 weeks before graduation, I picked up again. Yeah. So I went to school to be a homicide detective, and it turned out to be a drug addict.
Philadelphia alone saw more than 900 drug overdose deaths, many of them opioid-related last year, including 35 in just 5 days in December. The numbers have risen so sharply partly because of the presence of fentanyl and partly because liberal prescribing of prescription opioids have led to more people seeking out heroin.